Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Students Homeopathy and let's learn together. Kant's philosophy is one of the important manuscripts of homeopathy. Understanding Kant's philosophy increases one's depth and acumen in homeopathy. In this video, we will discuss a very important chapter from Kant's philosophy, that is lecture number 8, and the title of the chapter is On Simple Substance. And believe me, you are going to get the best ever explanation of this chapter. Kant has started this chapter with reference to the 9th aphorism of Hahnemann's 5th edition of Organon, that is, in the healthy condition of man, the spiritual vital force, the Dynamis that animates the material body, rules with unbounded sway and retains all parts of the organism in admirable, harmonious, vital operation as regards both sensation and functions, so that our indwelling, reason-gifted mind can freely employ this living healthy instrument for the higher purposes of our existence. This aphorism introduces the vital force or the vital principle. However, earlier under aphorism number 7 of his first edition of Organon, Hahnemann wrote, "There must exist in the medicine a healing principle. The understanding has a presentment of it." That means, in his early days, Hahnemann had an idea that healing principle was in the medicine. But till the 5th edition of Organon was introduced, his idea about the healing principle was changed. The new idea was, in the whole organism there is a unit of action, and he called it as vital force or vital principle. It means healing principle is in the organism but not in the medicine. According to Kant, though some of the Hahnemann's writings compel us to think that the harmony itself is a force, or in other words, vital force, that is vital principle, is synonymous to harmony, it is not true. Hahnemann didn't mean so. Principle or law cannot be considered as harmony. It is prior to harmony. Harmony is the result of principle or law. Going in this line, Kant again referred to the same aphorism, that is aphorism number 9 of 6th edition of Organon, and mentioned a part of it, that is, in the healthy condition of man, the immaterial vital principle animates the material body. According to Kant, instead of immaterial vital principle, here it would be more appropriate to use the word immaterial vital substance. That indicates his intention that he emphasized on the word substance instead of principle. And in the next paragraphs, he has given the reason behind this concept. To understand it, first we have to know different states of matter and the simple substance. Earlier, it was being believed that matter can have 3 states, that is, solid state, liquid state, and gaseous state. However, during Kant's time, a 4th state of matter was discovered, that is the radiant form of matter or the radiant energy. This is what is called as simple substance or primitive substance or the first substance. According to Kant, vital force is a simple substance. For your information, the 4th state of matter, that means the radiant energy, was discovered by Sir William Crookes in 1885. However, later it was proved that what Crookes called radiant energy was nothing but a flow of electrons in medium containing plasma, which was then called as plasma state. Now, according to Kant, matter in its simple form, that is the simple substance or the radiant energy, is also a substance, just as it is in its concrete or material form. For example, in solid form. Then, the question arises, what is vital force? What is its character, quality or property? whether man only has this vital force, whether animals or minerals possess it or not. Let's proceed further to get the answers of these questions. According to Dr. Kent, till his time, force was being considered as the force or power to construct. That there is nothing prior to the force, but actually prior to force there is energy. Again he says, if we can think energy as something substantial, we can better understand something substantial having energy. In other words, if we can consider energy as a substance, then we can better imagine that how a substance can also have energy within it. Kant further says, when one thinks of something that has essence, has actual being, he must think of that is as something existing and as having something which has ultimates. Actually, it's not too easy to understand Kant's philosophy, because every word and every sentence in it is meaningful and reflects a deep understanding of sophisticated mind of Dr. Kant. To understand this line, first you have to understand what the word is or essence means. In philosophy, is or essence refers to a substantial reality or simply substance. Essence is something that exists by itself. It is not that which modifies or characterizes the substance. For example, color, weight, etc. They do not exist by themselves and are called as accidents. Thus, essence is something that exists by itself and accident is something that exists on substances. Without substance, it has no existence. The example of a yellow shirt. A shirt is a substance or essence or is, because it has independent existence. But without the shirt, its yellow color has no existence. So, yellow color is an accident. Similarly, you can think of an overweight person. The person is a substance or essence or is, because he has independent existence. But his weight has no existence without him. So, weight is an accident here. Likewise, intelligence is an accident. A person's intelligence characterizes him, but without the person, his intelligence has no existence. Now, let's understand what are ultimates. In general, ultimates mean the last in a series or order. Now, what are the ultimates here? To understand it, we have to go through Swedenborg's philosophy, because whole of this lecture revolves around the Swedenborgian ideas and concepts. According to Swedenborgian concept, all the things that exist in nature, that is the natural or physical world, are the ultimates of divine order. The divine force starts from the supreme God, which is the prime, and flows down continuously through the spiritual world or the spiritual things, which are the intermediates, to reach the terrestrial or natural world, including the man, which are the ultimates. And here it rests. For your information, terrestrial or natural world means everything that exists on earth except those which are man-made. Thus, here ultimates refer to the natural world including man. Now, this flow or influx of divine force from prime to the ultimate has some purpose. A thing is not a thing, or you may say a thing has no existence if it has no use or purpose. Thus, man cannot exist without a purpose. He must have a living purpose to serve as an instrument in the hand of the Creator or the Divine. The economy or harmony in man or in the material world is only the effect. Its cause is something divine or spiritual, and that is substantial. That is the substantial God. Now, what does it mean by substantial God? Let's understand this. According to Dr. Kent, it is incorrect to say that force has nothing prior to it, because prior to force there is energy, and the energy is not the energy itself, but it is a powerful substance. Thus, the God or the Supreme is also substantial, as flow of energy starts from him. In other words, God is nothing but a substance, that is, simple substance. Now, everything starts from the God or the divine power. In other words, He is the beginning. The influx of energy starts from Him and flows to the natural and terrestrial world, that is the ultimates. Passing through the spiritual world, that is the intermediates. From beginning to ultimates, energy flows constantly and continuously, and this influx or flow of energy never breaks. As any discontinuity of this influx will cease the existence of ultimates, and then there will be no purpose or use of it. For example, if there is any disconnection, even in one place, in the circuit connecting an electric device to the main power source, the device will not work, because by this the continuous flow of electricity from the main switch to that device is discontinued. Thus, the sentence, when he thinks of something that has essence, has actual being, he must think of that is as something existing and as having something which has ultimates, means anything that is a substance or has substantial reality or existence must have something that has ultimates. Then what does it mean by something that has ultimates? It means the divine matter or the simple substance, as we have already discussed, only the divine matter ends in ultimates. Thus, in brief, this line says, anything that is a substance must have divine matter or simple substance within it. Unlike the materialists, the rational people believe in existence of substantial God and soul. As long as man is alive, the simple substance, that is the life force or the vital force, keeps on flowing through him in a constant and continuous manner. Without this influx of divine matter, man is dead. Now, we will proceed to properties of simple substance, but to understand it, first we have to know the two types of world. From our observations and understanding, we can perceive two worlds or realms around us. One is the world of matter or material substance, also known as material world, or the world of ultimates or the world of results. And another is the world of immaterial substance, also known as world of thought or the world of cause. The material world or the world of results can be discovered or recognized by our five senses. Everything in this material world has a beginning, and the beginning is in the world of thought. The immaterial world or the world of thought, as its name indicates, is invisible. It cannot be discovered or recognized by our five senses. Still, it exists. We can neither touch it, nor can we smell it, taste or hear. However, the immaterial world can be discovered or perceived through our understanding. The causes of physical world lie in this immaterial world. So, a homeopath should always start from the innermost of the man. That is the immaterial substance called as life force, which is the cause. And only then proceed to the physical world, that is the physical body, which is the ultimate. Next, the main subject of this lecture, properties of simple substance. Coming to first property, simple substance is endowed with formative or constructive property. The most wonderful thing about the material world is its order and harmony. For example, Earth revolves around the Sun in a fixed orbit bounded by a fixed period of time. It never deviates from this rule. Also, imagine the growth of an embryo in mother's womb. How beautifully and harmoniously it grows stage after stage, every stage being bounded by a fixed time limit, and each of its parts bearing a fixed shape. In the same way, we can see each and every plant has a fixed form. After all, everything in this material world has its own unique identity that makes it different from others. Is not it a bright example of this harmonious and orderly play of material world? This harmonious and orderly play of every form in the nature is due to the formative intelligence of simple substance, which is something immaterial. Thus, simple substance is formative or constructive. Because of this simple substance, the whole world remains united. Now, as vital force is a simple substance, it also shows the same formative or constructive nature. Formative intelligence of vital force is responsible for the growth, development and regeneration in human body. And if due to some cause the vital force leaves the body, the forces within it turn destructive, leading to death and decomposition of the body. Until the vital force is in a natural state, that is, continue to occupy, control and dominate the human body, the forces within the body continue to be constructive. Next, coming to the second property. Simple substance is subject to changes. As long as the man is in highest order and is rational, his harmony is not interrupted. But because man has freedom, that means within certain limit he can impose his will upon the world. He has the ability to destroy his own rationality and leads to disharmony and disease. Thus, normal vital force also gets sick. And normally or orderly flowing vital force may start flowing in disorder. Thus, it is subject to change. Next, third property. Simple substance can pervade the entire material substance without disturbing or replacing it. It means the simple substance can spread throughout all the parts of a material substance, but despite it, there will be no replacement or disturbance in it. For example, a substance can be magnetized by being rubbed against a strong magnet, and by this it is neither displaced nor disturbed in its arrangements. Note that magnetism is a form of energy and thus is a simple substance. Similarly, cohesion, that is the force of attraction which keeps the molecules of a matter together, is also a simple substance. It helps to hold things together without disturbing or displacing or causing accidents to them. Thus, the simple substance exists in every form of growth of physical matter. Next, coming to the fourth property. Simple substance dominates and controls the body it occupies. When the simple substance is active one, it dominates and rules the body which it inhabits. The force or energy that is responsible for the harmonious operation of all the functions and for continuations of all the forms and proportions, whether it is in animals, plants or minerals, is derived from the simple substance. It controls each and every substance in the material world and is also responsible for the cooperation between them, the life substance within every created being and form, due to which they can be used for the highest purpose of their existence, is a simple substance. Without this life substance or life force, everything is dead. A wonderful example of the harmonious operation of simple substance is the coordination between man's will, understanding and his actions. Also note that the different simple substances can dominate each other in accordance to their degree of purpose. One having higher purpose dominates those having lower purpose. For example, both the soul and vital force are simple substances, but the soul dominates the vital force as its purpose is higher in comparison to the latter. Here, confusion may arise in your mind that whether the soul and the vital force are the same or they are different, isn't it? So, Dr. Kane has clarified it that soul and the vital force are not the same. They are different from each other. The vital force is the vice regent of the soul. In other words, vital force is the administrative representative of soul to rule and govern our body. However, both the vital force and soul are simple substances. Next, Coming to the fifth property. Quantity cannot be said about simple substance, only quality in degrees of fineness. Simple substance does not come under the measurements of the world of space and time. Thus, we cannot describe the exact location or position of the soul in the body, because the instantaneous physical position of something is specified by the four-dimensional position in space-time, but the simple substance is not subject to the time-space boundaries unlike the physical or material world, and thus its exact position cannot be located. We cannot quantify the simple substance. Only the quality in degrees of fineness can be predicted. For example, the potentization in homeopathy. Homeopathic dynamization entirely deals with the quality. That is, each of the succeeding potencies are finer than the former one. Also, in our practice, we can see a case not responding to the lower potency respond to the higher one. Though by changing the potency, quantity of medicine do not increase. Next, coming to the sixth property, that is adaptability. Man has accepted the environment theory to be true through his reasoning, but actually it is a false interpretation. That is interpretation from appearance. Actually, it is not true. For your information, environment theory is the theory that was introduced by Florence Nightingale, according to which external factors in patient's surroundings, that is the environment, has an influence on man's life, and it is the fundamental cause of disease. Also, according to this theory, if we can modify the unhealthy environment or surroundings and make it balanced or healthy, the sick can be restored to health. But it is not really true. If we reason from within out, we will find it is a simple substance in form of vital force which exists in every part of the body and is responsible for the harmonious operation of internal economy in man, adapts itself to its surroundings and also make its house. That is, the human body adapt to its surroundings. For this reason, despite varied weathers and climates, all the physiological functions in our body continue to operate harmoniously without any deviation. A dead body cannot adapt to its environment because it has no vital force. In the healthy man, if the vital force suddenly becomes imbalanced, everything within him undergoes disharmony and thus he becomes diseased. In this way, we should know that the surroundings are not the real cause of disease but are circumstances only. Thus, the simple substance in form of vital force makes man survive in his environment. This is the adaptability. Next, coming to the seventh property. Simple substance is not subject to restitution. Kant says, matter, that is the ultimate or material form of substance, is subject to reduction, and this reduction is continuous till it reaches the immaterial or primitive form of it, that is the simple substance. But it cannot be reversed or restituted. That is, the simple substance cannot be brought back to its former state, that is, the material or the ultimate form. It is the only divine God who can restitute, but not the man. Now, coming to the eighth property. Simple substance exists in simple, compound and complex form. Simple substance exhibit three forms, namely simple, compound and complex. The chemical substances react to form compounds or composite substances without disturbing the simple substances in them, and thus their individual purpose, reliability and identity remain preserved. They are not destroyed. And the most important thing is that in such reactions, the compounds thus formed can again return back to their original forms. For example, iodine reacts with hot aqueous alkali to produce iodate. Now, the iodate can again be reduced to form iodine and water. And water can be broken down to produce OH ion. Thus, we reduced iodate to its former state, that is iodine and aqueous alkali. Simple substance existing in iodate is of a compound form of simple substance and is formed by the reaction of simple substances existing in iodine and in aqueous alkali, which are of simple form. Now, the complex forms of simple substance are formed when the compound forms and the simple forms come together under such condition in which they are dominated and controlled by something, that is the life force or the vital force. Thus, we can say the complex forms of simple substance can exist in the living organisms only. They cannot be formed in dead organisms, as dead organisms do not possess vital force. Next, coming to the ninth property. Simple substance is not subject to the physical laws. Simple substance does not obey physical laws. For example, law of gravitation. Weight, length, height, time or space cannot be predicated of it. The simple substance in form of vital force cannot be weighed. Thus, there is no change in weight of man after his death. To understand the vital force in true sense, it should be considered as energy, a force or dynamis. That is something that possesses power. That is the simple substance, but not as a principle. Next, coming to the 10th property. Simple substance present in material substances has varying degrees. Kant proceeds further to say that simple substance present in various natural substances have differences in qualities, that is, in degree. The life substance or the vital force, which is basically a simple substance, is present in every animal, plant as well as in inert elements like minerals. The notable point is, neither the quality of vital force in animals is same as that of plants, nor the quality of vital force in plants is same to that of minerals. They have differences in quality, that is, differences in degrees. The human body have the vital force of highest degrees. Again, within the same human being, there are different degrees of vital force. The innermost degrees are suitable for the will and understanding, the outermost being suitable for the very coarsest tissues. Thus, from the innermost to the outermost, there is a continuous series of quality in degrees. In the similar manner, the vital force in individual cells of the body also has the same series of quality. The innermost or the finest parts are dominated by the innermost degrees and the outermost parts by the outermost degrees. For information, we can call the innermost of the cell as finest, but we cannot call outermost of the cell as coarsest, because everything inside a cell is always fine. Likewise, the inert substances like silica possesses the vital forces of lower degrees, but they can be raised to higher degrees by means of potentization or dynamization. By potentization, the vital forces in these inert substances become finer and their quality increase. When the fineness reaches the higher degrees, it matches to the degree possessed by the human being and can be used for the curative purpose. The 30th potency of silica, that is Silesia 30, is potentized enough to be similar in degrees to be proved as curative in disease. But by potentizing or raising the potency further, we can gradually increase the quality or degrees of vital force in these inert substances so that they become similar in quality to the inner degrees of the human being. This process of increasing the potency is continued till the quality becomes similar to the very innermost or the finest degrees of vital substance. Next, coming to the 11th property. Simple substance cannot be identified by chemical analysis. We cannot identify simple substance through chemical testing, so also the vital force. For example, protoplasm. Protoplasm is present in each and every form of living organism, from highest to the lowest, but it is identified as protoplasm as long as the body is living. In dead body, it is nothing but a composition of carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen and sulfur. Reversely, if we will put all these constituents together in the same proportion as it is found in the protoplasm within the living body, it will only result in a compound or a composite form, but never the complex protoplasm which can only be formed inside the living body. Next, coming to the 12th property. Simple substance existing in life forms has all the essentials or the properties of life. When the man is alive, he has all the essentials or the properties of life like motility, reproduction, nutrition, etc. And he is also subject to death. On the other hand, a dead body have none of these essentials or properties of life and it is not subject to death. Now, these essentials or the properties of life are the identity of vital force, which is a simple substance. They are seen in every form of living organism from highest to the lowest. Here, Kant has mentioned about plasm body, which is an obsolete term now. Plasm body refers to an enucleated mass of protoplasm supposed to be the simplest structure of living organism. In other words, it is the simplest or lowest form of living organism found. Now, the most important point is that this plasm body, which is the lowest form of organism, also possesses all the essentials or the properties of life like motility, reproduction, nutrition, etc. It is also subject to death, that is, can be killed like other higher organisms. This is possible only because of the vital force possessed in it. Next, coming to the 13th property. Simple substance possesses aura. Everything in the natural world has its distinctive aura, that is the characteristic atmosphere or quality surrounding it. Thus, the simple substance also has it. For example, all the entities of this universe like the stars and planets, plants, animals or inert substances have their characteristic aura generated by themselves. The aura of musk is its attractive fragrance and of sun is its light and heat. Now, the most wonderful thing is that despite continuous emanation of this aura, even for a prolonged period of time, the source substances do not lose their weight. The musk does not lose its weight despite continuous emanation of fragrance, and the sun does not lose its weight by continuous emanation of light and heat. The carnivorous animals have a special nose by which they can perceive the aura of their prey and discover them, but the human cannot do it. The consciousness between two simple substances by which they interact is this aura. The interaction between them may be either harmonious or antagonistic. Thus, the world, including the human beings and minerals, are classified by positives and negatives. Now, why antagonism is necessary? Because the simple substances become more powerful when they interact antagonistically and lead to destruction. And destruction is necessary for beginning of formation or construction. The aura belongs to the immaterial world or the world of cause and thus is not discoverable to our senses. The concept of aura plays a very important role in study of homeopathy. The consciousness between the vital force and the dynamic homeopathic medicine by which they interact with each other is their aura. If we first perceive the innermost or the immaterial world and being there look upon the things in the material world, then only we can understand homeopathy in the true sense. And for this we have to consider the law and perceive the operation of law. Homeopathy exists as law. It exists in the material world because its causes exist in the immaterial world. For we have already discussed something that did not exist in the world of causes cannot exist in the world of ultimates. Now, all the properties that we discussed of simple substance are also the properties of vital force, because vital force is also a simple substance. Now, last point is conclusion. Thus, both the cause of disease and the sick curing substance exist in the immaterial world. The disease cause is in simple substance and the medicine necessary to cure it should be also in simple substance, that is the homeopathic potencies. Lastly, Kant says, whole of this subject makes us to think about establishment of a new system of pathology in which the disease cause as well as the sick curing properties should be in simple substance, but not in concrete substance. This system of pathology will be the groundwork or the base of homeopathy. So now let me summarize. The healing principle lies in the organism, that is in the vital force, but not in the medicine. The simple substance or the radiant energy, which is also known as primitive substance or the first substance, is also a substance just as it is in its concrete or material form. Prior to force, there is energy. Energy as something substantial, and substance can also have energy within. The flow or influx of divine force starts from the Supreme God and flows down continuously through the spiritual world or the spiritual things, that is intermediates, and reach the terrestrial and natural world including man, that is ultimates, and rest there. Any discontinuity of this influx from prime to ultimates will cease the existence of ultimates. A thing has no existence if it has no use or purpose. Thus, man must have a living purpose to serve as an instrument in the hand of Creator or the Divine. The economy or harmony in man or in the material world is only the effect. Its cause is something divine or spiritual, that is the substantial God. The God, soul and vital force all are simple substances. Anything that is a substance must have divine matter or simple substance within it. Without this influx of divine matter, man is dead. There are two types of world, the world of immaterial substance or the world of cause, and the world of ultimates or the world of matter. Immaterial world cannot be discovered or recognized by our five senses. It can only be discovered or perceived through our understanding. Everything in the material world has a beginning, and the beginning is in the world of thought. The formative or constructive property of simple substance is responsible for harmonious and orderly play of every form in the nature. Simple substance is subject to change. An orderly flowing healthy vital force may become sick and start flowing in disorder. Simple substance can pervade the entire material substance without disturbing or replacing it. Simple substance dominates and controls the body it occupies. Different simple substances can dominate each other in accordance to their degree of purpose. For example, both the soul and vital force are simple substances, but the former dominates the latter, as its purpose is higher in comparison to the latter. Simple substance has no quantity, only quality in degrees of fineness can be perceived of it. Simple substance is adaptable. In form of vital force, it adapts itself, its surroundings, that is the human body, and also makes the human body adapt to its surroundings. The surroundings are not the real cause of disease, but are circumstances only. By continuous reduction of matter, it reaches the immaterial or primitive form of it, that is the simple substance. But the reversal, that is conversion of simple substance to ultimate form, is not in the hand of human. Simple substance exhibits three forms, namely simple, compound and complex. The complex forms can exist only in the living organisms. Soul and the vital force are different from each other. Vital force is the administrative representative of soul to rule and govern our body. All the essentials or the properties of life like motility, reproduction, nutrition, etc. are the properties of vital force. Without vital force, man becomes dead and the dead body has no properties of life. The vital force has differences in degrees. Its degree is different in animals, plants and minerals. Also, within the same human being, there are different degrees of vital force. Inert substances like minerals possess the vital forces of lower degrees, but they can be raised to higher degrees by means of potentization and used for the curative purpose. Everything in this universe has its distinctive aura, which is a simple substance. It is the consciousness between two simple substances by which they interact. The consciousness between the vital force and the dynamic homeopathic medicine by which they interact with each other is their aura. Homeopathy exists as law. It exists in the material world because its causes exist in the immaterial world. Both the cause of disease and the sick curing substance exist in the immaterial world. So, that's all for this video. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel Students Homeopathy, please subscribe it now and also click on the bell icon and select all so that you will not miss any of our informative, educational and interesting videos on homeopathy. And please provide your valuable feedback in the comment section. Also, we will love to answer your queries on this topic. Thank you for watching.